Welcome to Civil Services Achievers Point. We are discussing today the Assam Tribune of 28th September 2020. At Civil Services Achievers Point, we have various courses. You can join these courses. For details, you can call at the number given below. You can also follow us in the social media platforms. So these are the answers to the MCQs of 26 September, and these are the MCQs of 28 September 2020. So you can pause the video here and you can attempt the answers to these MCQs in the comment section. These are the important newspaper articles we are discussing today and the important editorials we were discussing. So students, let us begin. The first news article is the Home Minister Amit Shah has said that Northeast is an important doorway in the Act East policy, and it is said in the event Destination Northeast 2020. So let us discuss this news in detail. So the Home Minister Amit Shah has said that he is optimistic that the Northeast states will be an important doorway in the Act East policy, and different regions in the 8 sister states will also emerge as new business, tourism, organic farming and cultural hubs. So this is said in the event of Destination Northeast 2020. So students, this is a very important point. APSC and also in fact UPSC will check this Destination Northeast 2020. So what is this? It is an annual event for promoting tourism in northeastern region of India, and the Home Minister highlighted that the multifold increase in investment by the Government of India along with the rise in budgetary support, infrastructure creation and institutional building in Northeast region by the Government of India. So the Home Minister has highlighted that there has been increase in the investment by Government of India along with the rise in budgetary support, infrastructure creation and institutional building in Northeast region. He further said that the legacy, the cultural heritage and beauty of Northeast India have not only been a vital ingredient for attracting tourists worldwide, but is also an important jewel in the Indian culture. So these points are very important. While writing answers in mains, we can use these points. Also, these points can be asked in the form of essays. So students, whenever there are a speech made from the Prime Minister, Home Minister, or say President, so these speeches and the remarks are very important from our examination point of view. So here from this article you should know what is the Destination Northeast 2020 and regarding the role of Northeast in the Indian economy and the Indian culture. Then the theme, this may be asked by APSC. Definitely in the upcoming APSC prelims, this is going to be asked by APSC that what is the theme of the Destination of Northeast 2020. So the theme is emerging delightful destinations. So this is the theme. APSC will surely ask this question, and further the donor minister said that the main aim behind the Destination Northeast event is to bring the rest of India closer to the Northeast India. And the donor minister further said that with its rich handloom and handicraft traditions, cultural heritage and high literacy rate, the Northeast has much to offer and was optimistic that when the corona pandemic eases, tourists will be who are earlier holidaying in Europe will visit to Northeast and bring prosperity. So as you know that the Prime Minister has recently made a remark that the Northeast is the new engine growth of the country. So these points will be asked by APSC in prelims and also in mains, and especially with respect to the essay, because APSC will definitely ask that how the Northeast can be made a new engine of growth for the country, and so on and so forth. So we will discuss that in our essay classes. So right here only I am highlighting that, see, if the questions in prelims and mains, the essays, the mains questions, and also in the interview, they come from the newspaper only. So we have to have a clear idea. So mere reading and discussion of the newspaper is not sufficient. We should also know that from which part, which type of questions are expected, because there is a pattern in the APSC and UPSC exam, and we are helping the students to understand the pattern, and so that maximum students can benefit from this analysis. So let us move ahead. Now this is again a news item which is recurringly coming in the news, because so that a question is highly expected in both APSC and UPSC regarding the new agricultural bills. So the Prime Minister has said that the new agri bills will help the farmers sell their produce. So this topic we are studying under the General Studies 3 paper, Economic Development. So the Prime Minister has said that the Indian farmers would benefit from the new agriculture related bills once these bills become the laws. So he pointed that growers had benefited after fruits and vegetables were taken off the ambit of the Agriculture Produce Marketing Committee Act, and in 2014, and now other farmers will benefit too. So if any mains question comes regarding the logic why these bills are passed, so a argument for passing the bills is that the growers of fruits and vegetables are benefiting now because the fruits and vegetables are taken off the whole ambit of the APMC Act, that is the Agriculture Produce Marketing Committee Act, way back in 2014, and now the farmers will benefit too. So this is a very good argument for the passing the bills. See, the various activists and various editors, they primarily focus on the challenges aspect of the bills. So it is very important that whenever any bill or any legislation or any rule is made, then we should at least know the positives and the challenges, because the newspapers primarily focus on the challenges only, and it is rightly so, so that the administration and the whole system can be made more transparent and efficient. But we should, as an aspiring civil servant, we should also know the positives of any laws or any acts. So for this only, we should be very mindful of the comments and statements made by the Prime Minister, President, that is by the government. So we should always have a balanced outlook over any issue as a civil servant. So the Prime Minister has said that, see, earlier farmers could not sell their produce because there were strict laws where they were, challenged for selling their farm produce outside APMCs. So outside APMCs, if any farmer would sell their produce, then they would be fined. But now they are allowed to sell outside APMC also. Now coming to the next important topic. So this is another important topic under the labor reforms. So the labor reforms is the labor reform is with respect to the bringing more investment and infrastructure project in India to fill up the Make in India project and to create more jobs and bring sustainable development and inclusive growth. Because as we know, our growth has been termed as, some economists have termed our growth as jobless growth. So to move ahead from jobless growth to job creation growth, so these labor codes are highly important. So we will discuss these, the importance of these labor codes and why they are important briefly now, and in details we will cover them in our economy classes. So students, you should not worry about it. Now the general studies, this topic we are discussing under the general studies 3 paper, topic economic development. So the government is aiming to implement all the 4 labor codes in one go by December this year and complete the labor sector reform. So as I have said, these labor codes are part of the broader labor sector reforms. The 3 bills which are passed in the parliament are that, so the name of the bills are very important because this is a historic moment in Indian economy. So as the LPG reforms which we study now, the liberalization, privatization and globalization reforms we study now, in future we will study these labor reforms as part of the historic development. So the name of the 3 bills are the Industrial Relations Code, the Social Security Code, and the Occupational Safety, Health and Working Conditions Code. And another code, the Wage Code Bill 2019, was passed by the Parliament last year. And the ministry wanted to implement all the 4 codes and rules under those in one go, as because these rules and codes are interlinked. So the government aims to catapult India or raise India to among the top 10 countries in World Bank's ease of doing business rankings with the comprehensive labor reform. So these activities are done by the government so that India can rise among the top 10 countries in the world Bank's ease of doing business. So as we know, ease of doing business is a ranking which is released by the World Bank, and as per the Doing Business 2020 report, India has jumped 14 places to the 63rd position in the ease of doing business rankings. India has improved its rank by 79 positions in the 5 years 2014 to 2019. And why India is so concerned and working towards improving India's ease of doing business ranking? Because the higher ranking would boost investment and it would create more jobs. So as I have said, the labor reforms are done so as to increase India's ranking in the ease of doing business, so that it increases the investment and it improves the job creation in the country. So now coming to the next article, the Union Cabinet Minister Dharmendra Pradhan has said that a proposal under which identified tourist sites or iconic spots will be turned into green zones where vehicles using only eco-friendly fuel will be allowed to run. So this topic is covered under General Studies 1 paper, topic culture. Also, this article can be studied under General Studies 3 paper, topic economic development. So this proposal will be done jointly by the Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. So coming to the next important article, the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. The Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade shares list of 24 key sectors with ministries. So this is done in a initiative to boost the manufacturing sector. So this topic we are studying under the paper General Studies 3, topic economic development. So the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, DPIIT, has shared a list of 24 key sectors including food processing, toys, furniture, agrochemicals and textiles, and with their respective ministries, so that to work on an action plan with a view to boost domestic manufacturing and make India a self-reliant country. So, as it is been asserted by the Prime Minister in his Man Ki Baat program, that India needs to invest in toys, toy making. Then there is a huge prospect in food processing. Then there is agrochemicals, textiles. So the minister has asked these respective ministries to plan an action plan, to work on an action plan so as to boost domestic manufacturing and make India a self-reliant country. Also include other sectors like organic farming, iron, aluminium and copper, electronics, industrial machinery, furniture, leather and shoes and auto parts. So the government wants to make India self-reliant in these segments and to boost exports and become a global supplier. So as we know that as many economists have already pointed out, that promoting manufacturing would help create more jobs and push India's dwindling exports. So when we invest, when we emphasize more on these sectors, it will promote the manufacturing and which will create more jobs, and then it will help India's export promotion. And also the manufacturing sector contributes about 15% to the country's economy, and the government is aiming to increase it significantly. So the contribution to India's GDP of manufacturing sector is 15%, which is very low. So the government's aim is to increase it significantly. The index of industrial production IIP for April-July contracted by nearly 30%, and the manufacturing sector constitutes about 78% of the IIP. So in the comment section you can mention which organization releases the IIP. In the comment section you can mention it, because APSC will definitely check this point. So now we will discuss the important editorials. Two very important editorials we are discussing today. The first is the strong pitch. So this is regarding the reforms, the UNSC reforms and the inclusion of India in the permanent members of the UNSC. So this topic we will study under the General Studies 2 paper, topic international relations. So in the recent 75th UN General Assembly, so many countries have spoken regarding the current pandemic and the availability of COVID-19 vaccines. However, our Prime Minister Modi has chosen the occasion to make a strong claim for India's inclusion as a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, and the Indian Prime Minister was absolutely justified in complaining about India's exclusion from the Security Council. So this may be a very important question in both upcoming APSC prelims and also in mains, and this is also very important topic for the political science optional students. So students, you should make a note of it, that so while addressing the 75th UN General Assembly, the Prime Minister asserted that the international community was confronted with the question about the relevance of the UN. So the Prime Minister has rightly said and rightly called out that there is a question now on the relevance of the United Nations, as the requirements and the challenges of the present as well as the future are different from those when the UN body was constituted. So the Prime Minister has rightly questioned the relevance of the UN without its reform, because the requirements and the challenges which the world faces now are much more different than when the body was formed. So here you can see that India was a founding member of the United Nations, signing the UN Charter along with the other countries on June 26, 1945. So UN formation date may be asked by APSC in the upcoming prelims. So students, you should make a note of it. And obviously, India had been under British colonialism at that point. So during the signing of the UN Charter, India was under colonial rule. So India could not make her claims to be a permanent member of the Security Council. So at that time, China, France, Russia, the UK, and the US have been the permanent members since the beginning, and this has not changed. Although there has been minor reforms like selecting 10 non-permanent members to the council for 2 years, and India has been on it a number of times, but this does not justify keeping India out, as she is one of the strongest economies in the world and second highest population. Also, India's contribution to the UN, especially in the organization's peacekeeping efforts, has been unmatched, and she has sacrificed the highest number of her brave soldiers to the UN cause. And Modi was justified in wondering as to how long India, with its unique contribution to the UN, will be kept out of the decision-making structures of the world body. And the Prime Minister also pointed out that apart from China, the other 4 permanent members of the UN Security Council had expressed support for India's candidature for a permanent seat. However, the China is not agreeing, and this viewpoint of China does not mirror the transformational changes happening in the world. Now coming to the next important editorial, development society as the facilitator. So this we can study regarding the general studies on Assam economic development. So this topic is primarily more important from prelims and the GS5 paper. So a question on this will definitely come. Also, one essay paper is now compulsory in the APSC mains. So students, this article, this editorial is very important for the essay paper also. So this article discusses the impact on the economy due to the coronavirus pandemic and its subsequent lockdown, and how states like Assam are facing the double problem of improving the economy and giving the migrants who have returned home job opportunities. So here the authors have argued that we need to develop the social capital. So here it is mentioned that the social capital has to be developed. Now, what is social capital? APSC prelims question may be asked. In fact, UPSC has asked already regarding social capital. So APSC may also ask in prelims or in mains also that what is social capital? So social capital is the sum total of norms, behaviors, institutions, and cultures by which people in a society secure each other's cooperation. And social capital is emphasized by the second ARC committee report in its 9th report. So in our mains GS classes, we will discuss the ARC report also. So students, you should not worry about, because the ARC reports will be very beneficial in quoting recommendations in the mains answers. So here the author has argued that with proper institutions and the various social development, economy will develop. Also, the World Bank has focused extensively on creating positive social capital in undeveloped countries. And as I have said, the second ARC committee has said that the need for India to harness its social capital for effective governance and private sector facilitation, because we have to understand the government is merely a facilitator for various policy implementation and various policy making, but the real players are the private players, and we have to develop the entrepreneurial attitude, because the Prime Minister, not only Prime Minister, but the Niti Aayog reports are also saying that until and unless we have an entrepreneurial spirit of entrepreneurial attitude developed in Assam and also in India, the economy will not sustain for long, and to benefit the, from the demographic dividend, it is very important that entrepreneurial activities should be encouraged. And here the author has made several points, so these points can be quoted in exam, in mains exam. Students, you should make a note of it, that first, the positivity in social norms around trade and commerce will encourage our youth to take up business and ventures. Second, school education focused on cognitive abilities and divergent thinking will foster an innovative zeal that can spur startups in the untapped sectors. So, as we know, the NITI Aayog also in the Atal Innovative Thinking Lab concept also, innovation is given now priority, and the new NEP, the new National Education Policy, also emphasizes on the innovative thinking. Third, trust is absolutely essential for business grow. The consumer must be able to trust the business and also the vice versa. Fourth, networks play an important role as they enable new business entrants to find their consumer base and to expand them. So now in Assam, we have a large pool of skilled and semi-skilled workers who have just returned from the lockdown exodus. So these semi-skilled can be further skilled, while the skilled workers can initiate startups and also employ them. And this will give a boost to our state's economy to grow post the COVID-19 pandemic. So here in the article, in the editorial, the authors also mentioned that it is not like that Assam has not known businessmen or Assamese businessmen have not existed in the past. Like we had great businessmen and entrepreneurs in Assam. For example, Moniram Dewan, Lokman Pesborua, Pradhan Borua, Radha Govinda Borua, RG Borua, Jyotipahar Agawala. So we have in the past people with entrepreneurial activities. So now with the various initiatives of the state and the central government, it is time that the entrepreneurial attitude is developed in the state, and it will definitely help in the bringing back the culture and state of mind back in the state. So this is how essays are written, because in essays we have to mention the economic problem, we have to analyze the problem, and we have to give a solution. So solutions are given. You can see here in this editorial, various solutions are given. So this is how an essay is written. So in our essay classes, we will definitely discuss them. So now, from time being, we have discussed this editorial. I hope this editorial was very helpful, and many points were discussed in this today's class regarding prelims and mains. I request students to study those points wherever I have mentioned the points as important, because both APSC and UPSC will definitely ask those questions and check in the candidates. So students, that's all for today's class. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you.